We are 2 preseason games in the books for the Denver Broncos, and training camp is pretty much over. Everybody wanted to know who's going to be wide receiver number 2. I have your answer, and it's actually not even a wide receiver. Details coming up next. All right, Broncos country, let's get into it. We're 2 preseason games in the books. They're 2-0 are the Denver Broncos, and really, they've dominated in those 2 games. What can we take away from those games? Well, I'm going to talk about wide receiver number 2 here. I'm going to talk about who it is and maybe a unique candidate, an unusual suspect, if you will. I don't even want to call it wide receiver 2. That's the big conversation. Everybody's having it on the radio side. We've done it on my radio show. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter. Is it Marvin Mims who's going to step up and continue to evolve into a giant pass-catching threat? Is it a guy like Devon Bailey, who came on strong as a 7th-round pick a year ago? He's been banged up in camp, so we haven't got to see a ton about Devon Bailey. Heck, is it Troy Franklin, the guy that couldn't catch anything a year ago, who now seems to be a legitimate option for either Jarrett Stidham or Bo Nix, whomever he's working with? I like all of those names, and they're not it. This is why I said it's pass catcher number 2. Don't go to wide receiver number 2, because he's not even a wide receiver. It's who you saw on play 2 on Saturday night catch the ball at about the 8-yard mark and then run another 50 for a 58-yard gain, and a couple plays later they'd punch it in thanks to R.J. Harvey for a touchdown. I'm talking about Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is your pass catcher number 2. You might even be able to call him wide receiver number 2. You know why? Because he's not going to line up at a tight end spot hardly at all, if ever, when you see him out in the regular season. We saw what he was capable of when he got the ball in his hands on Saturday night with that big 58-yard run. Big shout out to Troy Franklin for the block. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes. But Troy Franklin's block sprung Evan for another 45 yards after Troy got in the way. So he showed the ability to get open. He was butt naked wide open. By the way, there's nobody around him. You have to catch the ball. Troy struggled with that a year ago. Evan did it. And then he played the right angle to get around where Troy was and took that thing for 58 yards. Evan did say after the game, would have been nice for that to be a house call, but hey, there'll be plenty of those. So your pass catcher number 2 is Evan Ingram. And what he can do for this offense, I think I talked about this briefly on Dover on Denver the first day or shortly after we were out at camp. His ability to influence what the defense is going to do is crazy. I saw it with my own eyes on the first day out there. He'll bring the safety up if he's going across the middle. He'll take that inside corner and bring him with him outside. If it's a quick 5 and out, 7 and out is what they like to do a lot with him. They're going to bring that corner with him, which means the middle of the field will be wide open for a guy like Marvin Mims, Devon Bailey, Troy Franklin, whoever finds himself on the field. I think more importantly, especially when that safety's coming down, who's going to help Courtland Sutton's side when he's running those big, 15, 18-yard posts, depending on where they are on the field? It's going to leave Courtland with a lot of one-on-ones. Evan Ingram is your pass catcher number 2. Talked about projected stats on here. Man, he should catch 70, 80 balls. He should receive for 700, 800 yards. And then as far as touchdown goes, maybe you make that 6 on the low end, 8 on the high end, 7 you settle somewhere in between. Evan Ingram has received for over 700 yards 3 times in his NFL career. 3 times, and that's it. He did it as a rookie in New York. He did it his first year in Jacksonville. And then he did it one more time or the last year he was playing in Jacksonville. In fact, had 900 and something yards there. Over 100 catches. So that's a pretty good sign, right? First year in the league, over 1,000. First year with the new team over 700. Then he did it again with the first year with the Giants. It's his first year here in Denver. He's probably still thinking in the back of his mind, and I know his agent is, there's one more big bag that's out there for me to collect as an NFL player. And if he shines this year as the Joker, like I think he's going to shine, he's going to get that big bag. So again, you look at 70, 80 catches. You look at, let's call it between 700 and 800 yards. And let's call it 7 touchdowns. I'm going to go 75 catches. I'm going to go 7 touchdowns. And I'm going to go a real nice season at 769 yards. That's a great year for Evan Ingram. The first year, Denver Bronco, finally giving Bo Nix somebody to throw the ball to in the middle of the field. Evan Ingram is going to eat. And Bo Nix is going to find him a bunch. I love the off-field chemistry that I've seen with those guys out at camp, talking about where he wants the ball, when you want to turn and curl on some of those routes. They have been together almost every second they're not in operation, running plays out on the practice field. And by the way, just 2 days ago, Evan Ingram said, I'm Bo Nix's yes man. Is that not what you want out of pass catcher number 2? That is exactly what you're looking for. So Evan Ingram, he's pass catcher number 2. As far as wide receiver 2 goes, if you do want to go down that road, I'm down to have the conversation. I actually think Sean Payton's in a beautiful, beautiful situation. You don't really have to have a wide receiver 2 right now. Let's see if someone takes it and runs with it. Maybe it is Troy Franklin. Maybe Devon Vele's left leg gets right and he comes back and shows that he can still be wide receiver 2. I think Marvin Mims' name still needs to be a part of that conversation. But what Sean Payton can do is something that not a lot of NFL coaches can do. Hell, I bet you there's not a lot of college coaches that can do this. You can almost pick your wide receiver 2, which again is important because that's going to be Bo's, well, if it's pass catcher number 2 for Evan, I guess wide receiver 2 would be Bo's third progression, but he's a second-year player. You're going to get through more of those progressions now. Think about matchups. All right, you got a guy like Marvin Mims. He's a little bit smaller, right? But he's fast as hell and he's strong and thick. Maybe you do have a smaller cornerback. Well, that matchup's going to be better. You like the strength and the speed of Marvin Mims, you go there. And then you get a cornerback that has a little bit more length but might be a touch slower than the typical cornerback I was just talking about. Well, then you put Troy Franklin out there as wide receiver number 2. And he cooks that fool all day long with speed, with length, and with route running ability. That's something that Troy has gotten a lot better out. And then there's still a Devon Vele that you can throw out there as a wide receiver too. Again, he kind of has that big frame like a Troy Franklin does, but he's a little bit thicker. So if you do have those rare cornerbacks that have the speed, the length, and the muscle, well, that's a Devon Vele wide receiver too. It's a beautiful option for Sean Payton and a luxury that not a lot, hell, not many at all of these NFL coaches get. So I don't know how you couldn't be thrilled with the wide receivers, the pass catchers, whatever you want to call it, that Bo Nix has in year 2. Think about what it was last year. Bo Nix's best weapon was Courtland Sutton. He went over 1,000 yards. That paid off. Who was the next best weapon? I know you're yelling Marvin Mims at your screen. That's the right answer. But Marvin didn't even come on until week 10. We're going to get ready for a Tennessee game in what, a few weeks from right now? And you're going to still have Courtland Sutton. You now have R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. I'm at 3 already. There was 1 last year. Evan Ingram, who I might be the highest on out there. There's 4. Troy Franklin has had a great camp and then just scored 2 touchdowns against Arizona. That gets me to 6. Devon Vele, Marvin Mims. We're at 8. We're at 8. He had a 1 a year ago. On that joint practice on Thursday, we had a front row seat for it out there broadcasting live for the radio show. Bo Nix found 9 different receivers in that scrimmage. And I just listed 8 of the playmakers. And he hit 9 of those. He is going to spread the ball all over the place. It will keep defenses guessing. I still think Courtland's going to be his number 1. That's his whoopee. But there are so many options for Bo Nix. Sutton 1, Ingram 2, and then pick your poison the rest of the way through. These Denver Broncos, they've been doing it right for the last 3 years. You get out of the Wilson situation, you continue to draft and develop, change the culture, find your quarterback, get your head coach to fit with that quarterback. It's here. Now it's time to see how much this team can do in 1 year with everything working in the right direction. I'm very high on the Denver Broncos. You should be too. Leave me a comment. Tell me where you are with these Broncos. I just listed 8 playmakers. Do you have one I forgot? You want to push back on one of the names that I said? It's all good. We can disagree and have the debate right there in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you right there. While you're there, like, subscribe, everything that we got going on. Of course, it's football season. That means we're going to be busy and all over this YouTube page. So we'd love to see you here. This has been Dover on Denver, and now I'm done.